what is BaZi? Kind of exploring this myself, and I want to share it with you because I think it's so amazing, it's so fantastic. And one thing I really find about BaZi is it's at the center of Chinese culture, and I didn't really realize how central it is. If you're going to do your Kung Fu, everyone's talking about the five elements. Now, the five elements is fundamentally around these five energies, which you are always trying to balance in the BaZi. And these five energies have yin and yang. Yeah, so that means you've got 10 energies. You essentially feng shui, so how buildings are organized, whether you have which direction the boss is facing, which direction you're facing when you meet the boss. It's all trying to influence and balance the energy and how the energy is working for us all. How the architecture has been done. So they're always trying to make the Mingtang, this central place of balanced energy, harmonious energy in the center where everything is sort of an axis for everything. They're trying to do that, and they're using the BaZi to do that. And it's also, in Chinese medicine, so the pulses that they do in Chinese medicine, they're all about understanding the organs, and the organs are organized to the BaZi. So literally the numbers of the BaZi and the elements of the BaZi are so fundamental to understanding, Chinese culture, you can say. It's blowing me away. And for me, I'm a Guilo, I'm a foreigner, I'm a non-Chinese. I've always been interested in Chinese culture, especially Kung Fu and Tai Chi and Lao Tzu, the Dao. So Dao Jia, so the non-religious practice of Tao. So I'm looking at BaZi from a different perspective, and I'd love to share that perspective with you. And part of that perspective has led me to make these cards, which I call the BaZi Oracle cards. And to a certain extent, I don't think what I'm going to be sharing with you, they fit for the Oracle cards, but it fits for BaZi, because BaZi is it's like this framework you can put everything in the Chinese culture. It's amazing. Okay, so get a load of this. I met somebody today and they said, oh, my daughter is a rabbit, and so her name has got to have little holes in, because the Chinese say that rabbits need at least 3 houses, and of course rabbit houses are little holes. So I thought that was so cute. And also literally every single, I'll say almost every single Chinese person has their name named because of the elements. So let's go to the core of what this is all about. There's 5 elements, and inside these 5 elements, inside everything, you find these 5 elements. They're like, it's like everything is an amalgam, yeah? So it's a mixture. So your table, whether it's made of wood or whatever, it contains these essences of the 5 elements being wood, water, fire, earth, metal, and these are the 5 elements. And then of course we have this primal idea of yin and yang, and then we have this 3 treasures, which is the spirit shen, the material, which is jing, and the energy, which is the qi. So you've got yin yang, 5 elements, and the 3 treasures. And really, I would say that the BaZi is interested in understanding the energy. So BaZi is interested in essentially the energy. So if you understand how you can adjust, for example, your facing, then you change how the outside energies work on you, or you understand your inner energies, how you're made up. So if you like, whether you're more wood or more metal or more earth and so on. And of course that's the natal BaZi. So the natal BaZi is when you're born, you literally write down 8 Chinese characters which define from right to left the year, the month, the day and the hour. So you've got those 4 pillars, yeah, which is 四柱, so 4 pillars, and each pillar has 2 Chinese characters, which is 八字, yeah, so that's 8 characters. And 8, interestingly, is means split, yeah, so you're actually, it is about analysis. So the ancient Chinese idea is analyzing the energy and then working on the alchemy. Yeah, there's the inner alchemy inside the body, but then there's the mixture of the inner and the outer. Yeah. Okay, now I want to look at the 5 elements and how the 5 elements are working together. So you've got 5. Now we'll start with water. Now, why we're going to start with water? You can start anywhere, but I want you to think water. If you've got water, there's a creation cycle. The water allows something to grow out of it. So you can imagine a seed, if you put it in water, it's going to germinate, yeah? So it grows up, yeah, and creates wood. Wood gets struck by lightning, yeah, and becomes fire, yeah? And then fire burns and it creates ash, and that's like earth, okay? Then earth, if you leave earth for long enough, yeah, you're going to find metal inside, or if you boil the earth or heat the earth, you're going to find like metals or things metallic inside. And then metal creates water. So that's called the creation cycle. Now, basically, there's 2 cycles. And within the 2 cycles, I would say like there's 5 important understandings you have to have about them. Yeah. So it's 2 cycles, important cycles, and then 5, in total it's 5. Now the control cycle means that each element is controlled by another element. So for example, let's take fire for example. Obviously water controls fire, yeah? What does fire control? Fire, well, it can melt and soften metal. So something which is hard and powerful, if you add fire to it, it becomes soft. Metal, of course, can cut the wood, yeah? So the wood, what can that do? Well, wood, its roots can break up the soil, yeah? So what can soil control? Soil can absorb the water, yeah? So you've now got a control cycle where the water is controlling the fire and all the way around. So that's essentially how the elements are creating and controlling. But when we're talking about the BaZi, and we're talking about Chinese medicine, when we're talking about feng shui, you're going to have other considerations, because if an element gets very, very strong, then it can overwhelm. So it's a bit like you eating just one kind of food or drinking only water. It can obviously be a little bit too much of a good thing. So the idea of using the elements and understanding the elements is always trying to balance them.